Welcome back, Benchwarmers. The NHL just completed their 42nd outdoor game, and Corey was lucky enough to be there.
Yeah, it was actually the third outdoor game I've attended, and it definitely was the largest crowd, over 94,000.
Jeez. Well, that got us thinking about other sporting events that were played in not so normal locations over the years.
So we came up with 4 other memorable outdoor games that were one for the history books. I'm Corey, outdoor game regular.
I'm Brendan, sounds too cold for me, and this is RV from the Bench. Before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you can please do us the favor, if you like what you see here, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it for us, come on, it's free. It's free for you, it's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
Well, Corey, I don't know how you do it. Like I said in the intro, it sounds a little too cold for me. Now, one of the outdoor games you went to was here in LA, right? It's a little bit warmer, obviously. I mean, it don't get that cold here no matter how much you might try.
No.
But this one was a little bit different. Tell us where you went and give us, give a little bit of rundown of how your trip was.
Yeah, so I went to Columbus, Ohio. My sister and brother-in-law live out there, and it was his first birthday, so it was kind of a combo trip while I was there.
Happy birthday.
Celebrate Omi a little bit. And then, my brother-in-law came up with the idea while we were there, like, why don't you and your dad and I go to the outdoor game? I was like, it's a really good idea. Like, he came up with this last year when they announced this. So we talked about
Oh, wow, okay.
So once it came out, we were going to do, I was like, yeah, let's go. So we got tickets. It was at the Ohio State University. Or it was, if you notice on the logo, too, it says the Stadium Series. It's actually kind of cool. I know you hate it.
Oh, jeez. I'm not going to say anything. I can't say anything.
I know, yeah, you can't talk about that.
Whatever. It is what it is. Great job.
But yeah, so if you look on YouTube right now, you can see this is like the picture of where we're sitting of what we could see. They had the big O around the rink in the middle. They had the band come out onto the ice and spell Ohio before the national anthem. And then if you're looking at the photo, you can see us bundled up. At puck drop, it was 28 degrees. But with the wind chill factor, it felt like 15, and it definitely did.
I mean, at that point, like 15, 12, 0, like what? Can you feel the difference between 0 and 15 degrees? I mean, geez, that's...
I mean, the only bad part about it is when you went outside and to get to the bathroom to get food or anything, and you walk by, there's these certain tunnels where this wind would just gust through, and it would get you like, ooh, that feels cold. But if we were sitting in the seats, chilling, everyone's, this close to each other in old metal benches anyway, so it was a good time. It was a good game. Nobody died. My dad and I came back with our fingers and toes, and we're from California.
They all work too? Okay, good. That's nice. How was the game itself then? I mean, who played? It was Red Wings and the Blue Jackets, right?
Yep, Michigan and Ohio, of course. They had to put the two states against each other there.
Yeah, stupid freaking Michigan lost again. Jeez.
I actually had a Red Wing guy sitting in front of us, but it was fun. It was a good game. Blue Jackets led early. It was 3-1 going into the third. And then they tied it late, and then the Blue Jackets scored another one about 60 seconds after that to get 4, and then empty netter, so 5-3. 21 Pilots performed at the first intermissions for like about 10 minutes.
From Ohio or something?
They're from Columbus. I didn't know that until this event. That's how I learned that.
Oh, that makes sense. So,
that
sounds like fun. It
was chill.
It wasn't snowing?
No, actually, the morning morning when we were hanging out, we saw flurries outside for about 5 minutes, but then that was it. No snow on the ground, no snow in the air. It was just cold and seeing a lot of your own breath. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, hey, that's good. Players too, I bet, obviously.
Oh yeah, big time.
That's fun. Well, that's good, man. Glad you had a good time. And family time. Doesn't get much better than that, right?
Agreed.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's obviously one of the outdoor experiences here. Now, some of these we've been alive for. One of these everybody knows about. But we're going to kind of go over what were other, I guess, out of normal venue games, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah, it's not an outdoor game technically, but most of these things are games that are normally played indoors or outdoors or at a bigger stadium or a place that you typically would not expect it to be.
All right. Well, we got 4. One of them is kind of like more of an honorable mention, but let's kind of go with the main 3. There's been a lot. Obviously, this is the 42nd one. We can't just sit here and list all of the hockey games that have happened. So we're trying to kind of switch it up a little bit. There is a little bit more of a stadium series, but it was a good one. So that's to be continued or coming up. That's what I meant to say. But we're gonna start with probably the one that everybody knows. This is like goat fight. We weren't alive yet. We were negative 14 years old, so we didn't get to witness this. But honestly, we've seen some footage of it. It's one of the most talked about things ever. Let me not get there. Corey, again, it's legendary.
Yeah.
Tell me what this one, number 1.
Number one, Rumble in the Jungle. It's Ali versus Foreman, back in Zaire, which is now the Democratic Republic of Congo. But this was a big ordeal. I mean, this is when Foreman is like 5 or 6 years younger than him at the time. He is the heavyweight champion going into this. He's 40-0 with 37 knockouts in his career. Ali's 44-2 with 31. So this is like the biggest fight. 60,000 people in this outdoor venue.
Jeez.
Just Ooh, and I mean, this is one of those highlights we talk about the rope a dope where Ali's bouncing around, and I mean, just super one of the most famous boxing, if not just sporting events in general. I think it's actually they talk about it as being one of the most memorable sports moments in the 20th century. Like it's that big a deal.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That was when boxing was really in its heyday too. Like boxing's kind of lost some of its glare and flair, I guess you can say. I don't know if it's because people have just gotten tired of it, or the introduction of UFC is kind of like breaking that up because there's a lot more than just stand punch, stand punch. It's a lot more interactive, obviously, in the octagon. I don't know what, but this was in the peak of boxing, some of the best boxers of all time. Now, again, they may not have each been at their individual peak. Ali a little bit older, but one of the greatest fights ever. Again, we weren't there, but it's definitely everybody talks about it. Ali ended up winning by knockout in the 8th round, but it doesn't get much bigger than Rumble in the Jungle. Just everybody knows what that is just by the
Right?
name. Yeah, and it's been what 74 is when it was, so that's what 40 plus years.
Yeah, it's actually almost. I think it's 50 years now.
Oh yeah, see, my math is terrible. I'm just trying not to be as old as because I wasn't born too much different than there. But, yeah. All right. Okay. Well, this one though, I really like that one. Let us know in the comments which one is your favorite, or if we're missing some. That's what we don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure we're missing.
Yeah, probably. Okay. So the next one here, though, we're taking it back to a Stadium Series game. Sorry. This one's where was this one? Oh, New York, or I guess New Jersey. Yeah, sorry.
Stadium.
At MetLife, which is a crazy. It's so funny. So you're telling me that MetLife was able to get ice onto the field before they could get real grass? Man, okay. They just don't care about injuries, apparently. But so this one happened February of 2024, actually not too long ago. This was Rangers Islanders Stadium Series at MetLife. Corey, you want to kind of run us through the game, especially how this was like, oh, this is over. Oh, wait, no, it's not.
Exactly. This one was a roller coaster game, and it's the Battle of New York in New Jersey, but at New York, this is basically stadium. But yeah, so the Rangers and Islanders get out to an early lead 4-1, and then everyone's like, oh well, I guess this game's not going to be much to talk about. But over the last period and a half or so of the game, the Rangers come back and end up tying it, and we go into overtime 5-5. And at that point, you're like, okay, now that we got a game, and unfortunately, it's only 5-on-5 or 3-on-3 for 5 minutes. It's not a playoff game, so we're not going to get like the best way to end a hockey game in overtime. But
right, yeah.
The second best option is it being over really quickly. And 10 seconds in, Temi Panarin comes in and scores real quick and gives the Rangers the win after the coming back from down 4-1 early at the game.
Wow, that's just that's literally drop puck score.
Yeah, basically win the face-off, get across the line, one pass, boom, done, game over. Like it's just it helps when it's 3-on-3, you have more space to work with off the face like that. But still, 10 seconds into overtime. That's usually how it happens though in hockey. It's either right away into overtime or we're gonna be here a while.
Dang, yeah. If the teams are just knocking each other back and forth, it's gonna take a second. I think I might have remember at least seeing highlights of this game because watching the outdoor stadium, just crazy where they put it and how they kind of angle it depending on the type of stadium. Obviously, you went to a giant football stadium. You've also been to the Dodger one, like I said, so that's at a baseball stadium. So kind of seeing how it's all configured and stuff is kind of just crazy to show up and where you would normally see something, a bunch of grass, there's just a bunch of people skating around. You're just like, what the heck is going on over there?
And the other one I went to was in Colorado at the Air Force Academy, which is a much smaller college football stadium. And it was the Kings and Avs. That one, I think that was in 2020. Actually, it was like right before the world shut down and COVID took over. It was like the month before that, and it was freezing, and there was actually snow on the ground. So that one was a little colder than the Ohio one, only because the snow was out, and also everybody from California does not know how to drive in snow. That was a terrible idea to invite the Kings out there. But
true. I didn't even think about that. We don't even know how to drive in rain unless it's sunny and 75. We're screwed.
Exactly. So imagine all these people from California who flew out there to go to a game, and they're parked on a dirt lot that is now covered in snow, and they don't know how to drive in snow. It's really fun.
Yeah, not that fun. Take an Uber. Dang it.
Oh,
all right, so we got one more, and then we got an honorable mention here. This one was really cool, and actually kind of happened close to us. I actually do remember this game. They were switching it up to a different sport again, and a completely different venue, someone you wouldn't even think about. This one, 11/11, which is Veterans Day of 2022, which kind of obviously makes this make a lot more sense. Gonzaga and Michigan State took part of the Carrier Classic. Yes, a basketball game played on an aircraft carrier. They played on the USS Abraham Lincoln over down in San Diego. What a game, too. It wasn't just the idea of a crazy venue and having like freaking planes and stuff like around and you're just on this gigantic ship, but the game itself was good. Gonzaga, Michigan State went down to the wire. Corey, you want to run us through it?
Well, not only that, you talked about playing outdoors, but think about normally if you play a basketball game outdoors, like at the park, there's wind involved. They're on an aircraft
Oh,
carrier on the
yeah.
ocean, sitting in the water on the ocean, like in the bay of basically San Diego. Think about how much wind
Oh,
we're
it's
talking.
windy there. Yeah, no, you're right.
So the fact that they were
That's a
able to
good point.
score 60 points each in a regulation game, I think is actually kudos to them because that's
Props.
pretty crazy. But yeah, you talked about huge game, Michigan State with the Tom Izzo versus Gonzaga. So you got two big programs. Michigan State gets out to an early lead, especially they get about 5 minutes into the second half. They're still up by double digits. Then Zaga makes a 10 or 11-0 run to cut it to 1, and then it's a back-and-forth battle all the way to the end. Michigan State has a chance to win at the buzzer with a desperation 3. Does not hit. Zaga.
Which is crazy, too, because Gonzaga's normally like, well, people don't consider it that much. Maybe it's just my bias. Every single time I've picked Gonzaga to do anything, they always lose. So I'm just like, bro, I think they're super overrated. And that's not a knock on the coach. It's more a knock on the conference. Again, I understand that you can't choose who's in your conference, but like you kind of can. You see player and team and school movement all the time these days. I think that's probably the only thing. And then obviously Michigan State playing in the Big Ten. I was just thinking Izzo would handle, but hey, I mean, technically Gonzaga's closer, right? So maybe there was more fans down in San Diego for them.
I was gonna say I can't imagine there's very many fans, if any. It's probably just like the people that work on the boat, and I don't know how. I have to look up the attendance now.
Yeah, I don't remember that now. Yeah,
very little, but still, what a weird way to play basketball. We played outdoors all the time when we were growing up, but not on a boat on the ocean.
I know it's one of those things too. Like, luckily the boat is gigantic, but like, what if you miss a shot and then it like just roll into the ocean? You got to go grab it real quick.
Yeah, right. That's minus points because you threw it off the field of play.
Just like this weird bouncy, like it's like remember we used to play in the street. You saw a car, and now you used to be like, oh shit, no shit. That's funny. At least the carrier wasn't live. Have to pause for landing and takeoff or something. Well, those are like the three biggest ones. Again, there's plenty more. I'm sure that we're missing a couple. But there was another kind of different one. We're taking it back a little bit more with fighting, but this one is like super crazy. Not necessarily the city, because it happens here all the time, but really like where it was. This is Evander Holyfield and Riddick Bowe II, November 6, 1993, fighting at the outdoor ring at Caesar's Palace in Vegas. Again, Vegas, very, very popular place to have fights, both boxing and UFC. Most of the time, they're inside. And this one took place outside of Caesar's. Pretty interesting.
It happens, but the weirdest part about it is it's not even really a matter of who won, because it's a great fight. They're two really good boxers at the time. But the fact of the story is there was a guy with a fan and a parachute floating around up above, so he could basically watch the fight for free. At the time, I guess there's nothing they can really do, but eventually what happens is he has a malfunction, and he ends up having to come down and crash, and he crashes into the side of the ring in the middle of the fight.
Oh my gosh. Do we have like something of that?
I'm going to try to find some video if I can find it, because it's so old and happened in the 90s, it might be really grainy. So if you're watching on YouTube, I will do my best to find some quality video for you to see it. But if not, the pictures are worth 1,000 words for sure.
There we go. At least we'll try to throw up a picture at least. How about that?
Oh, yeah. I definitely have a photo I'll throw up for
Okay. All right. Well, at least have that. We'll try to find a video, though. So. That is pretty crazy, especially because like I wonder what the malfunction was.
Yeah, I
Like
don't know.
they
I
just
don't
run
know.
out of like fuel. Like how do you keep that fan moving? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I don't know how much fuel he had or what the plan. I just, from what I read, there was a malfunction of some sort, and he came down and ended up crashing into this, and like right into the side too, like in the middle of the fight. They had to stop everything. I think it was the seventh round, if I remember correctly. But this is also one of those things as a kid, like '93. So me and you were like 5 years old. This is like
Yeah.
one of the first sports things. I don't remember it happening, but I definitely remember it being like in the news on Sports Center and being talked about for like days and days after. That is definitely one of the first things I can think about.
They probably have a no-fly zone now in Vegas for people trying to watch sporting events flying around
You can't even
above.
fly a drone, let alone a person on a with a fan.
True, true. Maybe that's safer now. Maybe we should just let people have no, no. Broadcasting rights. Broadcasting rights. Everybody needs to pay. That's right. Well, that kind of wraps up the show here for, different venues. Let us know in the comments below which outdoor game is your favorite.
Or like Brendan mentioned earlier, did we miss one? Let us know on Instagram and Twitter at RVUFTB or here in the YouTube comments as well.
Appreciate everybody for stopping by. Thank you as always for saying things from RV from the bench. And thank you for your story, Corey. I'm Brendan.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
This was a Sycamore Fourth Studios production.